actually, but chorus of this song has the phrase shalom, which is Hebrew for peace, and then we say ya salam, which is Arabic for peace. Then the next phrase is mitakuye o yasin, which is from a Sioux, a Native American language, and it's about just recognizing our connection and how we're all related. And then lastly, the phrase of the chorus is Shanti Om, which is Sanskrit for peace. So this is called Peace Can Lead Us.
Is this on?
It should be.
It is, but, okay, I'll just talk loud. This is a very special time in our service when we honor all faith traditions. Some of them are mentioned here, not all of them are. And it is a time for honoring the love within each one. And so we perform it with the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence which we call spirit. Take a deep breath with me.
Oh, it's working. It's working.
Spirit spoke. So fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature, divine love, which we honor here today. So we light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the middle way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality and universal oneness. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the healing candle. Please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love. Please stand and face your screen or the center aisle and close your eyes. Cross your hands over your heart and take a moment to breathe in the loving intentions we've just sent out to the world. Now open your eyes and see God looking back at you.
The spiritual journey is one of constant transformation. In order to grow, we must give up the struggle to remain the same and learn to embrace change at all times. One of the most important areas requiring change is how we solve our personal problems. We normally attempt to solve our inner disturbances by protecting ourselves. Real transformation begins when you embrace your problems as an agent of growth. Once you learn that it's okay to feel disturbances, they can no longer disturb your seat of consciousness. You will be free. And the affirmation today, I'll read it through and then repeat after me. I live my life from a deep sense of trust and faith. I stand on integrity.
I
live my life from a deep sense of trust and faith. I stand on integrity. And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Good morning, I'm Joseph Salek, the music director here, and this morning it's a pleasure to welcome the Everyday Singers, which is Patty Berry, Jackie Hyra, Reverend Ann Ray, and Michou Landon, members of our congregation, and it's wonderful to be working with these women. And please join me in welcoming the Everyday Singers.
your presence here inside of me. I rest in knowing you are here. Brighter than 1,000 stars across the sky. How you shine, how you shine. Peace, light, love in me. Peace,
We can get.
Yeah.
We can put it on there for 6:10.
Okay. And if it doesn't, we'll just make it work. No,
It's not really doing much.
come on.
Let me just go check.
Scoochie, scoochie. Oh, see? All right. Well, maybe. What do they tell someone who is an up-and-coming singer? Swallow the mic. I don't think I want to do that. Good morning, every day. Good morning. What a fabulous day it is. I am so excited to welcome all of the familiar faces, all of the new faces. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm happy to be meeting people for the first time, and I am delighted to see every pair of eyes that I get to look into frequently. We are a center for spiritual living, the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living. And the reason that we're the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living is because there's nothing about us that's everyday. Except that we all get to be new. We all get to make new choices. We all get to discover ourselves for the first time. And the most remarkable thing is each other. We get to discover each other for the first time. We get to look into each other's eyes for the first time. I really don't want to be tied to this thing. Anyway.
You want it to go away?
Well, I'm just not sure. I think it will record fine if I don't use a mic.
As long as everyone can hear you here.
Well, you know what? As long as you guys can hear me, no offense, I'm going to make sure that y'all can hear me because I'll move up and I'll move this over here and
Oh, boy, is that
well,
better.
Step back, please.
Oh, stand
Step-
back.
There we go.
Ugh. Well, it was better for a minute, but this is still better. You know why? Because I'm free. I want to go back to something very sweet and important that happened at the very beginning of service today that some of you might have missed. Deanna Joy was the one to share with us all that the first Sunday in November is Transparent Sunday. And it's to celebrate trans kids and their parents, and to celebrate trans parents and their kids. And since I'm a grandparent of a trans kid who's 30 years old. But you know, I started having children when I was 5. Anyway, it's a big deal. And so I didn't want that to get lost in the translation of people not having the opportunity to be here for that announcement and all of the music and all of the excitement that's happened so far. So every month we have a new theme. I feel like there's enough new people in the room that I have to explain some things. Every month we have a new theme. And my theme this month is 100%, 100% of the time. Because for me, personally, that's my goal, is to be 100% of my best self 100% of the time. And to give that to anyone I encounter, to be that with anyone that I encounter. And 100% of 100% of my best, it isn't always my best. You're all supposed to go, it isn't always, at least it isn't always what I would consider to be my best. The idea is that the intention is there. And I'm always checking in with myself to see how I'm doing. Because if I can't pull it together to give 100% of 100% of my best self to anyone that I encounter, I'm not doing so good. And with all the things that are going on in the world, we may wonder how that's even relevant. With all of the concerns and the anger and the divisiveness and the questions and the misunderstandings and the ancient arguments and all of those things that are going on in the world, how is that even relevant? Well, in my opinion, it's the only thing that can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in a position, in a literal way, to fix any of it. I'm not in a position, in a literal way, to encourage people to talk to each other with respect and to consider each other's opinions with respect, whether or not they agree.
Right.
Because are we always going to agree?
No.
Right?
That's right.
We're not always going to agree, but we can respect each other's opinions.
Yes.
That does not imply agreement.
That's right.
That does not imply giving up our own idea, our own position, our own gut feeling, our own anything. It's just respectful to listen
Exactly.
and to be willing to really hear. So that's part of my practice 100% of the time, is to be willing to listen and to really hear and to make sure that my questions, if I don't understand, that my questions are respectful, that my questions don't imply any kind of judgment or preconceived idea. It's so easy to have preconceived ideas. And many of us cut our teeth on them. Not literally, but preconceived ideas, at least in my household, in the household of my growing up, were very common. They were common in that household. They were common in the household that preceded it. They were common in the household that preceded that. Preconceived ideas were very common. My parents, and I've told you this before, would have insisted until they were blue in the face, which is a really old saying, that they were not prejudiced. But boy, did they have opinions when those people started to move into the neighborhood. Now, I'm grateful that over time and through experience, they learned. They learned to think differently. They learned to see each other differently. But if we don't, all we're going to have is war.
That's right.
All we're going to have is divisiveness. If we can't see each other, hear each other, open our hearts to each other, have compassion for each other, we're going to get more of what we've got.
Right.
Okay, so, there are some things coming up. There's an election coming up locally. There's an election that's all the conversation among some people that's coming up in a while. And there's elections in other parts of the world, and there's this leader who's a bad guy and that leader who's a good guy. And I don't know about you, but there are a lot of facts, real information. There's a lot of real information. I don't know. No matter how much research I do, I don't know. Am I reading information or am I reading opinion?
Yeah, exactly.
So who can we trust?
Ourselves.
We can trust ourselves. We can trust ourselves. As long as the center of ourselves that we are tapping into for that validation or for that clarity. Because sometimes it's not validation, it's clarification. As long as that is our innermost self, where our wisdom lies. And none of us, not even ordained ministers, have a license for it. We each have our own. I am not here, as the people who come here on a regular basis have often heard me say, I am not here to tell anybody what to think or what to believe. I'm happy to tell you what I think and what I believe and what works for me. It's available to everybody, but we have to make that choice.
Yep.
We have to decide where our lane is, which deciding where our lane is, getting clarity on where our lane is, and I don't mean our combined lane. I'm talking about our individual lane, because we each have one. Where our lane is and how we're going to travel on it.
Right.
Not somebody else's lane. It's not our job to figure out somebody else's lane and tell them how they should travel on it. Because then you know what? We've left our lane.
Right.
We've left it. And it's none of our business. I know. How in the world can I say it's none of our business? I can say it's none of our business because, not because we don't care, not because we aren't involved, not because we don't just send love and compassion and all of our best self to everywhere in the world that might need it, and everyone in the world that might need it. But the only thing that we can really do anything about is our lane.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true, not just for me. That's just true. 100%. 100% of the time. So to figure that out, first, did I leave my lane so long ago that I don't remember where mine is? Because that's happened for some of us. Not in this room, of course. But it has happened for some people we know who are just so happy to give advice and to you know, really feel that they're helping us and encouraging us by, you know, coaching us along, and we may not have asked for a word of it, but that's their need. And that's okay. We don't have to do anything about it. We don't have to take it seriously. We don't have to have a long discussion to tell them how this isn't helpful. We don't have to do anything. God bless you on the truth. When we are experimenting with being our best self 100% of the time, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to fix anybody. including ourselves. Now that I know that's a really big thing to say, but if you stop and think about it, how many people in this room are like numbers and science and angles and facts and all of that stuff? Lots of you, right? Okay, so you're really going to get this. Because 5 minutes ago is 5 minutes ago. Yesterday is yesterday. It doesn't matter how long ago or how short ago. It's done. That microcosm of time that we call an instant is complete in and of itself. All done. So what are we going to do now?
Right.
That may be the biggest question of all. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do with our very next step, our very next breath, our very next choice? Are we going to choose differently? Or are we just going to kind of ho-hum along? Ho-humming along has its benefits, I guess. It's a little boring, but that's my evaluation of it, not a judgment. Choice is the most powerful tool we have
Yeah.
as individuals.
Yes.
Choosing where we place our attention, what we decide is important, what we decide is a priority, who we decide is a priority. Very powerful moments. They're all thresholds of decision. And that cannot and should never be minimized. What we have the opportunity to do with that choice, and by the way, statistically speaking, to all of you that raised your hand in the audience today, statistically speaking, we make 60,000 choices or more a day. Really. Really. And we don't even think about it.
Right.
You know, so many of them are automatic. I'm going to go grab my keys. So this is my routine on Sunday morning. Well, a little snapshot of my routine on Sunday morning. I'm going to go get my purse. I'm going to make sure that everything's in it that I need to have show up at the synagogue with me. I'm going to make sure that we have our keys. I'm going to put on my shoes and I'm going to walk out the door and I'm going to make sure the door is locked, and then I'm going to go down the stairs and then I'm going to walk out the little walkway and I'm going to go through the gate and I'm going to get in the car. I don't do that. I mean, I do all those things, but I don't think about it.
Right.
And yet every single one of those is a choice. Because I could get to my handbag and I could say, well, phooey, I'm not going. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm going to sit outside and enjoy it. Now that would be a choice. Each one is a choice. So, another part of finding our lane, staying in our lane, recognizing our lane is realizing how important our choices are. Realizing how important our choices are. And taking the time to make a choice that is worthy of us. Taking the time that's worthy of us and making the choice that's worthy of us. I don't know about anybody else. Well, I know about a couple of you, but I won't reveal any names, who, like me, have made some choices along the way at some point in time, a long, long time ago, before they understood that, you know, there was such a thing as self-responsibility, and they made some choices, like I did, that weren't, in retrospect, so great. Anybody but me? Of course, right? Before I understood what I was dealing with in terms of living this life, in terms of what it is that I am and who it is that I am, again, not as a minister, but as a human being, as an inseparable part of this whole of life that is all life. Before I realized that there was such a thing, and it's sad that my parents didn't teach me responsibility. Believe me, they teached me. See, I told you they teached me. Responsibility. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same as encouraging me to recognize that when I made a choice, that choice would open up all these other avenues of possibility, not all of them wonderful. And I could avoid all of that by choosing differently in the moment. That did not come with my early education. When I realized that I actually have not only the opportunity, but the assignment to make my best life, to live my most fulfilling life, and to give everything that I can through avenues of love in support of others, it was like, whoa. That changed everything. That changed everything because it was no longer just me and my friends. It was no longer just me and my family. It was me as part of the world. And how I think and how I act on those thoughts impacts the world.
Right.
Now, I know that's a huge honking idea that I could have saved for when no new people were here. But if you're going to get to know us, you're going to get to know us. And we can make a difference. Every single one of us can make a difference. Bring any situation to mind that you feel is so far beyond your scope, beyond your reach. But you know what? If we're all one, we're all one. Sorry, everybody. Didn't mean to leave you. If we're all one, we're all one.
Yeah.
And whether or not everybody agrees with that idea isn't the point. It's what do we feel?
Right.
What do we hold to be true? Where do we believe that we have the opportunity just by holding an awareness of love as the highest idea to make a difference? A 100% of the time is a big ask. And it's not a small lift. Got any better ideas? I don't. Because I feel that we are all here and have always been here. But we are here right now because, of course, the always is cooked, right? Done. Complete. We are here right now for a profound reason. Each of us, our own. Not a kumbaya reason, not one where I'm going to say this is what our reason is, this is what our purpose is. No. We each have our own. It's for us to discover. It's part of the process. And as we're going through that process, it's pretty interesting because we find out things about ourselves we didn't know before. The more deeply that we dive in to our inner wisdom, the more is revealed. But we have to give it a chance to be. We have to show up in our lane and willing. My title for today was We Will Rise. And I wasn't just talking about us. I wasn't just talking about Santa Fe. I wasn't just talking about New Mexico. I was talking about everyone who wants to. And everyone who wants to help those who don't feel they can on their own. But we have to start here. 100%. 100% of the time. want to just mention one thing, because of course I always have one thing. Some of you who are here for the first time have heard us say a couple of times already in the service, and so it is. And I just thought it would be fun to let you in on what that means. Are you all familiar with the word abracadabra? Abracadabra means it's done as I say. That's the literal translation of abracadabra. It's done as I say. Boy, if I'd known that as a kid. And so it is means the same. Amen means the same. Go with God means the same. Okay, I need my music now.
What do I do with it? I think it's on the chair.
That one? Oh, yes.
No, we sing, Patty.
I'm going to share a wonderful song by a singer-songwriter involved in the Jewish community in Philadelphia, I believe. Her name is Batya Levin, and this is a song called We Rise.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here and we rise. All of the children rise, and elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here and we rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise, fighting for life we rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here in hope, in prayer. We find ourselves here in hope, in prayer. We're right here and we rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.